Remember what I told you? Don't watch that screen. If you're a trader, take a break. It's the worst thing. Run around the block. Go shopping. Go to the fitness. But don't sit in front of that screen all day. You know, it's not necessary. Is PK here? Out of the box? One more thing. Maybe you remember from the past those infomercials. There was this Popeil, this crazy guy. He had this chopper. He said, set it and forget it. And you can use the same strategy with the trades. No, don't sit there. Anyway, so what are we going to talk about right now? Today, as you see, I'm taking a little sun. That's how I take a break. I come out here. We're talking about Hawaii. What's the deal with Hawaii besides the Hawaiian tropic? That's what we're going to discuss. But I think we're going to move because it's too hard to hold this camera up and explain to you what the heck's going on. Here we go. Another beautiful day in Florida, by the way. That's one thing about it, about this Florida. There are a lot of distractions, which I keep telling you is very important if you want to be a trader. Anyway, so what I want to say is, let's organize this a little bit better. There we go. What's the bottom line about Hawaii? I did mention it. It's for America. I think Hawaii has the best beaches overall in America. Remember, let me just give you a little background actually. I went when I was 13. My mother took me. I went to the North Shore of Oahu. Now remember, I'm going to be 62. This is 1973, a long time ago. And of course I was hooked. And remember, all of us who grew up, and especially in California, when we want to go to our getaway and go in the wintertime to go to the beach or resort, we go to two places. We either go to Hawaii, or two, we go to places Cabo San Lucas, which is in Baja, Mexico. Anyway, so let's get back to Hawaii. So I grew up during my teen years and my 20s, numerous times making trips. I went to Maui when I was 18. I had a girlfriend over there. And at the end of the day, I think maybe you know, I lived there for 5 years on Maui and spent about 4 months on Oahu. So I'm very qualified to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about Hawaii. Because it's so popular, always has been, with all of us here. Let me tell you, let's take it very quickly. Let's talk about Oahu, like Waikiki. This is someplace you want to avoid. If you want to go check out Oahu, I strongly recommend going to the North Shore. It's the other side of the island, less commercial, way less commercial. There's a few nice hotels, 5-star hotels, all different price ranges. But I think Oahu, you want to scratch. Tremendous amount of traffic in Waikiki and Honolulu, so forget about that. Second thing is, I think you should scratch this going to the Big Island, Lanai, and some of the other places. Again, not worth it. If you're going to make that journey to Hawaii, you want to take the best of what this place has to offer. And PK is going to tell you the best of what this place. My whole life I've been going, as you know. So please take a quick listen. It's not so much. Anyway, so I would scratch you the places. Next is Kauai. Kauai is beautiful. I would stay if you want to go to Kauai. It's this is a place I go to a place like Poipu Beach. They got plenty of hotels, resorts. You can check out Princeville. If you're one of those people that want to take one of those helicopter tours, this is the island to do it, because Kauai has this incredible beauty to it, especially from the air. I've done it myself years ago, and that's worth doing. So that's, as I said, I don't have so much experience. I've only been to Kauai a couple of times. So, but this I think is still really the best thing for going to Kauai. Now let's talk about what I really know a lot about, which is Maui. Let me make it very simple. You're a beach person. What's the best beach on Maui? It's called Makena. Big Beach is down south of Wailea. It used to be a real wild scene. We used to camp there. Then years ago, then they turned it into a park, a reserve. There's no hotels. And next to Big Beach is something called Little Beach. If you want to take your clothes off and run around naked, every Sunday, it's just a little hike over the hill. Done it a number of times. It's not a legal nude beach, but this is where it's very small, but people go there. On Sunday, they have a drum circle. They've had this for years. And people are dancing. Who knows what they're high at. But this is the best beach on Maui. This Makena Big Beach / Little Beach. If you're a windsurfer, a kite surfer, I'm a big windsurfer. Of course, I'm a relic now. Everyone goes kite surfing. Maui is number one in the world for either one of these sports because it has incredible wind. Winter has the waves. I'm sure, so you say, well, okay, what about those beaches? Kanaha, Lower Kanaha is where they go to kite surfing. Upper Kanaha is better for windsurfing, not so crowded. It's right in town. It's next to the airport. Of course, there's the world famous Ho'okipa Beach Park in the winter. The problem is very crowded, very local. You're asking for problems. Unless you're a real pro, great windsurfer. It's just people want to go there to say they've sailed at Ho'okipa. It's just one of those type places. Okay, what's the best hotel? There's a lot of choices. The best hotel, in my opinion, is the Grand Wailea. Again, and this is the southern part of the island, south of Kihei. This still better. Of course, the most popular place, as you probably know, is Kaanapali. It is a fun, if you want a fun scene, there's a lot of some action there. Very far away from a Mykonos or Ibiza, but it's worth, you could go there. I wouldn't stay there. Again, depends what you're looking for. They talk about Lahaina. It's finished. It's all commercial. It's full of Hard Rock Cafe, places like this. It's just, these places used to be great many, many years ago, but, the word is out. Everyone goes there now. So I would avoid that whole scene. Next is, what's the best restaurant? There's a lot of good restaurants in Maui, especially for seafood, sushi, all sorts of food. But I would say, by far the most romantic on the beach, you must go. It's expensive but worth it. It's called Mama's Fish House. They have fish. That's what I order there. Used to go all the time. This is on the north shore, on the other side of the island. It's always crowded. Make a reservation. The place is great. All these other restaurants, they're average expensive, like any other resort. Nothing so special I could recommend. The next thing is, if you want to have lunch, I've lived all over the island. I did live in the North Shore. I lived in Paia. I strongly recommend, this is a place good for lunch. You could take bak lunch with you, take it to the beach. It's this Paia fish market. They have things like mahi mahi and all the local stuff, but it's very good there and fairly priced. And they make it's on the corner. You can't miss it. And that's really it regarding that. As I mentioned, the fun scene. If you're looking for some fun, go ahead. Go up to Kaanapali. Go to the beach for a day. But all these resorts up there are very commercial. Again, 20 years ago, even when I was there in the 90s, it was crowded. I mean, really, Hawaii really had it, like everything else, it changes, everyone finds out. It's just another place to go. But the beach is great, and me being a windsurfer, if you're a windsurfer or kite surfer, this is a top spot in the world. Nothing can touch this Maui. I've been to all the best places in the world windsurfing and kite surfing. There's a lot of places too for that, but this is where you want to go. It's worth it just for that if you're into that. But outside of that, if you're just going to go for some nice beach vacation over Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter vacation, it's worth it. So I told you the best restaurant, the best hotel, the best beach, where you can go for lunch. The other thing is, you'll find out when you check into your hotel, your condo, wherever you're going to stay, there's a million things to do. And so the bottom line, and remember when I lived there, my friends from California would come and visit. They all want to know, because it's so commercialized. There's so many things to do. What's worth doing? And I'm going to name, there's only 3 things to do in Maui. I think that's still great. It was great 30 years ago, 35. It's still great. It's still worth doing now, which is 1, rent a car and drive to Hana. It's a whole day. It's going through a rainforest. It's very commercial. All these things are commercial. The days of having this privacy, those days are over. But it's still really worth doing. You should do it once. You can take a lot of great pictures. You can stop along the way. Pick up that sandwich at Paia Fish Market. The second thing to do, you'll see this too, is going up to the Haleakala crater. They have a very big crater. They have bike riding down there. There's all sorts of things, but you get up in the morning and you can watch the sunrise and see all the islands. They call it, I believe, the 5-island view. And this has always been a big tourist attraction. It's worth it. I just thought of one more thing, too, I left out. If you go in the wintertime, these whale watching trips to see humpback whales, this is worth it. It really is, because you don't go that far out. It's like 5-10 minutes out, and for you, like me, I got seasick. It's not going to happen. Again, this is worth it. And the fourth thing, because I first said 3, is you should do a luau just for the experience. One-shot deal. Take some pictures for your Instagram. The question is, which one? Which is the best luau? There really is only one. It's called the Old Lahaina luau. This is the one you want to do. Forget everything else. It's the most authentic. The food is the same. It's not going to be too good in any of them, but they put on a nice show, and it's been around the longest. Of course, all the hotels have luau's. So that's it. The crater, driving to Hana, going and whale watching, and going to the Old Lahaina luau. That's it for things to do. And so, listen, in summary, what I want to tell you, if there's anything else I want to mention about Maui, look, it's a great, there's something about it, even though it's crowded, built up. That's why people like going to Kauai. They'll even go to Lanai, but it's too quiet. Kauai is something, the weather's more is more of a tropical rainforest. But I don't go to Hawaii anymore. The last time I went to Maui was in maybe over 10 years ago. I'll never go again, because once you live in Europe and you've been to Sardinia and Greece and Spain, Hawaii is something in the past. And but I still recommend it for you when you're young. It's still a great place. Of course, remember, one of the big attractions of Hawaii when I grew up in the 70s, the drinking age was 18. Now, of course, Reagan killed that with the Just Say No. So the 70s was really a wild, as I mentioned maybe in a previous video, Maui Going to Maui in the 70s, mid 70s, this still had very wild scene. The people didn't, the masses here in America, it wasn't on everyone's radar. Everybody always went to Waikiki. And believe me, there was nothing wrong with that. Because the water, the beaches, Hawaii is a beautiful spot. I don't want to knock it and say it's not so beautiful. But for me, it's a one-shot deal. Unless you have a water sport, surfer, big surfer, go to the North Shore of Oahu. I don't have to tell you that. Windsurfer or kite surfer, you want to go to Maui. Forget everything else. You must have a connection with the water if you want. A lot of people, I can't tell you how many people I saw moved. They go on vacation. It's like a paradise. Everyone says, God, I'd love to live here one day. I can tell you, most people are history in 6 months and 1 year, and that's it. Because they don't have, you need to be connected to the water. This is the only, quote unquote, I want to say, the aloha spirit, you still feel it in the water. So you must have, and for me, being a paddle canoe, this doesn't quite cut it. Hawaii is for surfing, windsurfing, and kite surfing. Then, I never would have moved there if I didn't get sick. Remember, I had a brain aneurysm. That's where my speech is screwed up. I can't talk so well. My mind wants to shoot it out quickly, but you see I'm slurring my words with this microphone. It's horrible. I just about dropped dead there at 40. But what kept me there, I was so happy because I was windsurfing. I was doing what I love every day, practically every day. There's just so much if you're into that sport. And everyone else I saw move there, they lasted 6 months, a year. Because you take the same problems with you. It's like anywhere else. It's an escape. But something Hawaii, the real aloha spirit is in the water. So anyway, this PK here with Out of the Box. And remember, always live out of the box. Ciao, everybody. Talk to you another day.